Lions absolutely punk Dallas and Dallas, but they pay the price injury-wise.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you on a Sunday edition of Locked On Lions, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. A little post-game reaction as the Lions blast the Dallas Cowboys' second biggest Lions road win in terms of deficit in franchise history, as they win this football game by 38 points and blast the Cowboys 47-9. Welcome into Locked On Lions, again, right here on a Sunday, October 13th. Into Monday, October 14th. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out to our everydayers who are out there. I met a couple of fans of mine and Antonio yesterday over at Copper Kettle for breakfast. No, by the way, shout out to some of you that think I don't live in Detroit. I never left. This guy Antonio, great dude, at breakfast says, "I thought you moved to Cleveland." No. There was an uninformed reporter in 2016 that said I was moving to Cleveland just because I started working on the weekends and filling in at 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. That didn't mean I was moving there. I've been living in, I never left. So, Antonio, what's up? Jay Fernandez, who I met yesterday at Myers. I was wearing my Cleveland Guardians gear, and we talked a little baseball also out there. But thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Again, please subscribe and watch us on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Detroit 47. And Dallas 9. Normally, on this podcast, I would be on here screaming, going nuts, celebrating, playing music, laughing at Jera. Oh, happy birthday, Jera. What's he, 82? If you're a Cowboys fan, how do you not give up and just say, I'm done until he sells the team or gives it to his son or they hire somebody to run football? That Dallas team is bad. I told you all week. And I hate to play the I told you game, but let's deal out the cards. I told you all week they were going to win this game. Lions are a much better team than Dallas. That's a mediocre Cowboy team without two of their best defensive players. And today, three of their best four. If you take out Parsons, Bland, and Lawrence, that defense blows. And the Lions push them around. But normally we would be celebrating. We'd be going nuts. But Aidan Hutchinson has a tibia injury, is staying in Dallas overnight at the hospital, had to have an air cast put on, which takes like 5 minutes to secure around his leg. Then they had to move him onto the cart. And that just, that's a punch to the gut, because you want to go nuts. You want to go, yes, we're 4-1. We're a huge game with Minnesota next week. The whole division's just kicking ass. And Aidan Hutchinson, I got to believe, is out for the year. Dan Campbell said after the game today that he's going to be down for a while, staying overnight, tibia injury. It's like a broken leg, and they didn't even want to show the replay on Fox. They went to like 16 commercials. I saw more political ads than I needed to see. And Aidan Hutchinson just bringing Dak Prescott down for a sack, just got his left leg caught. And it appears, if it's tibia and fibula, I mean, he could be out 10 months. I mean, this is brutal, absolutely brutal. So you lose your best defensive player. I mean, think about this. After Hutchinson went down with an injury, the Lions were rushing Isaac Ukwu and Trevor Nowaski. Those were the guys on the edges the remainder of the game. Josh Paschal filled in a little bit. They brought up Ukwu from the practice squad. James Houston wasn't even active today, which should tell you what they think of him. Now, I guess we could speculate. We could throw stuff out. We're having fun on the show. I am not a reporter. This is speculation. Max Crosby is on a bad Raiders team. He's in the second year of a 4-year, $100 million deal. So he's making $25 million a year. Does Brad Holmes pick up the phone and call the Raiders and ask about Max? Max Crosby would be amazing here. Today, coming off the field, he shoved his defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell, in the chest. Now, after the game, he said, that's just my guy. It was playful. Possibly, maybe he was covering himself up for a fine, but he looked pretty ticked off coming off the field today as the Raiders once again lost a football game to the Steelers. It was coming off the field to the sideline, and he shoved Mike Caldwell, the Raider defensive coordinator. He says it was nothing, whatever. The Raiders are an embarrassment. What would it take to get Max Crosby? I mean, if you are going for it like the Lions are, you got to make phone calls and bring in edge rushers. You've now lost Marcus Davenport, Derek Barnes, and Aidan Hutchinson. So I don't know who's going to be rushing the passer. Give Aaron Glenn a lot of credit. Future head coach Aaron Glenn a lot of credit. His defensive scheme today was fantastic. They were in Dak Prescott's face all day. They stopped the run. The secondary played well. Kirby Joseph was everywhere. Brian Branch was everywhere. It was a really good performance from this defense. It also helped that the offense was mauling Dallas's front, destroying it. How about Frank Ragnow taking Mozzie Smith to the cleaners on a pancake block? I mean, you might as well throw some butter and syrup on that bitch. Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. What a block that was. Unreal. I'm not calling Mozzie Smith a B. I'm just saying the block was a bitch. I'm not saying he is, please. It's a fine Wolverine right there. I guess you could say Ragnow was gunning for Mozzie Smith. See what I did there? But the O-line all day was great. Ben Johnson just completely toying with the Cowboys today. We're talking hook and ladders to offensive linemen. We're talking Dan Skipper out wide. We're talking trying to get Taylor Decker a touchdown. Double reverse flea flicker to Laporta for 6. He had a trick bag going today, and Dallas had no answer. Cowboys go into the bye at 3-3. They look like a team ready for the bye. Lions come out of the bye and absolutely wax Dallas. It was fun. And again, I wish we could go crazy and celebrate and pound our chest, but this Aidan Hutchinson injury just kind of, it makes you feel like, it makes you sick. He is everything to this team. Is he the only thing on this team? No. There's plenty of good players here. The Lions are going to be fine. I still think they're going to win the division. I still think they can make a run. But man, oh man, to lose him is a killer. He is easily your best defensive player. He is easily your best pass rusher. Heck, he's your only pass rusher. I mean, like I said, Pascal had a good game today, but he's more of inside and outside. Ukwu and Nowoski, I don't know. Mitchell Agude is probably up next off the practice squad. They're going to have to go next man up here. But Election Day, November 5th, is also the NFL trade deadline, and I can guarantee you Brad Holmes is going to be calling the Browns about Zadarius Smith, the Raiders about Max Crosby. Heck, call Carolina and see about the guys down there. This sucks. It just sucks. When he went down and took his gloves off and was writhing in pain, you're like, uh-oh. And when Fox said they're not going to show a replay, and I'm sure you can hop on Twitter, and I'm sure some people are posting it, tibia is never a good sign. Sounds like a broken leg, basically. Because he just means so much to this organization, to the team, to the city, what he does, how hard he plays. The fact that he was up for Defensive Player of the Year here 6 weeks into this season. Just absolute gut punch. But the team responded. The team kept playing. And they absolutely pounded Dallas today. That was certainly a lot of fun. But again, you look ahead to next week in Minnesota, you got to put pressure on Sam Darnold. He's going to stand back there all day. You're going to lose. All right, let's get more into this game, hand out some game balls. We'll talk about the offense a little bit and Ben Johnson some more. We'll talk about the defense as well. What a job today. 47-9. The Lions drop a big leg on Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys, paying them back for last year in Dallas and the Decker reported game. We're back after this. All right, friends, Locked On Lions brought to you by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. All right, Hims is changing men's health care by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits or anything like that. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's hims.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. It's Hims. Back on Locked On Lions, yes, Detroit goes into Dallas. First win over the Cowboys since 2013 in the Matthew Stafford 1-yard plunge game. 47-9, Detroit over the Cowboys today. I'm going to hand out game balls, but let me start with this. The offensive line was fantastic today. Yes, all the trickery and everything else, but from Skipper coming off the bench to Sewell to Zeitler, who doesn't get enough credit. He's excellent. Ragnow, Glasgow, Decker, Hesse coming in at tight end, Brock Wright, Hesse at fullback, Sam Laporta. Everybody up front was mauling people, moving bodies. That's how you play football. The Lions are a blocking and tackling operation. And today they ran for 184 yards. Yes, David Montgomery, 12 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. He just does not go down on first contact. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 rushes for 63 yards. Montgomery averaged 6.5 yards a carry, and Gibbs averaged 5.5 yards a carry. Then at the end of the game, they bring in Craig Reynolds. Come on, Craig. Yeah, my boy was out there, 6 carries for 21. Jamison Williams on a reverse for 11 yards. Even Sione Vaki carried the football in garbage time and had a 5-yard run. Jared Goff, again, back-to-back games now with his passer rating over 150. Back-to-back games. The Seattle game, where I think he was at 155, and today 153.8. 18 out of 25, 315 yards, had all day to throw, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. Who had Hendon Hooker making his debut and the crowd chanting his name down in Dallas? I didn't expect Hendon Hooker to get into this game at 47-9. Well, at 47-9 I did, but I didn't expect him to be playing today in Dallas. But he came in and ran the show in the fourth quarter. It was just a blast session. Anything the Lions wanted to do offensively, they could do. The only thing that stopped them were drop passes, one by J-Mo, a few penalties, but it was fantastic today. And they spread the ball around to everybody. Jamison Williams caught 3 passes. Wide receiver 3, Timmy Patrick, caught 3 passes. Raymond had 4 catches. Laporta had a touchdown. St. Brown had 4 catches. And I know is a little bit upset with his targets. You could just see his body language. Amon-Ra wants the ball more. I get it. Jahmyr Gibbs had 3 catches. So the Lions spread it around. The offense looked great. Ben Johnson was completely in his bag today, but that O-line gave Jared Goff time to throw and also just moved bodies enough to provide holes for Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, we were not on the air Friday night when the 2-year, $20 million extension came out for David Montgomery, but well-deserved. David Montgomery is going to be here long-term. He got a 2-year deal, and this was the last year of his deal, and they extended him right here, right now. And why not? He means so much to this team. He's so physical when he runs. He punishes people. And you start the games with Montgomery running left behind Decker and Glasgow, and then you bring Gibbs in for the speed factor. This is such a tough team to beat. And this is our team. These two guys are just lethal and explosive. And they've both been talking about it. Montgomery said it the other day. Me and Jameer want to be the top running back tandem in the game. And you saw on the other side, Dowdle and Zeke, the corpse of Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, it's a mismatch. And next week, going to Minnesota, Brian Flores and that defense have been phenomenal so far this year. That's where you're going to win the game. You're going to win the game with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and that O-line setting the tone early and often. As the Lions improved to 4-1 today and 2-0 on the road. Big one in Minnesota next week. But this is a team that exercised some demons down in Dallas. 2014 playoffs, Lions got hosed. Last year in Dallas, the Decker play, Lions got screwed. Plain and simple. And early in the game today, I was worried when some of these flags started flying. And I'm like, come on, John Hussey, don't do this to us again. As they're calling pass interference and holding on Brian Branch, number 32, when he wasn't even anywhere near the play. Now, it turned out that Anzalone was on a hold there, a Gaines media poster boy, Alex Anzalone. But regardless, none of that mattered. I said it Friday. I said it all last week. Go down there and kick their ass. They're not good. That's a mediocre, that's a 500 football team. They got an overpaid quarterback. They got a receiver that's a diva. CD's great, but when he's not happy, he's a culture killer. They don't have his number 2 or number 3 receiver. Their tight end is meh. Their O-line, Zach Martin's old. Their O-line couldn't hold up against the Lions, and I want to talk about the defense coming up next. That's not a good Cowboys team. The best thing about the Cowboys is their kicker, Brandon Aubrey. And their fans, every time he comes out to kick, go, let's go, Brandon. Oh, that's funny. That wasn't funny 3 years ago. But the Lions win 47-9 today, a complete and utter domination. And I got to tell you, get on TV tomorrow, watch ESPN, watch FS1, watch all those shows. See Stephen A. Smith, I'm sure, is going to have some video tonight laughing. They're going to be talking about the Cowboys getting embarrassed. And it was by us. It was by the Lions. It's one of the worst home losses in Cowboy history. They're 0-3 at home. And they got embarrassed on national TV in front of everybody. This was the Fox game of the week. If I hear Tom Brady say red area one more time, I swear I'm going to pull my hair out. He was better second half today. I thought Brady actually made progress today on the broadcast. Man, that's always fun to beat them. It is always fun to beat them. How about Jake Bates? Can we give a shout out to the Lions kicker, Jake Bates? What was he today? 4 for 4 on field goals, 5 for 5 on extra points. That's a 17-point day for the pride of the Michigan Panthers and the UFL, Jake Bates. They were even joking about Jack Fox today. He didn't have to punt once. Shout out to Marcus Mosier. If you heard Locked On Lions and Locked On Cowboys on the Thursday crossover, I made a point about how Jack Fox can flip the field. And Marcus said, don't worry, Matt. He won't even have to be out there this week. And Marcus knew. The Cowboys were without DeMarcus Lawrence, Marshawn Nealon, Eric Kendricks, Deron Bland, and Micah Parsons on that defense. But as you see, the Lions have lost players. Derek Barnes, Marcus Davenport, Hutch, they lost today. Brian Branch missed a game due to illness. Other guys are stepping up. There is serious depth along this defense. Now, the loss of Aidan Hutchinson, I'm not going to tell you that's not devastating, because it is devastating. I don't know what they're going to do. They got to go somewhere outside of the organization to find another edge. They have to before the trade deadline. But with that being said, we saw today, after Hutchinson went down, the defense kept playing and forced, 2 interceptions from Dak. I believe it was 2 fumbles, the punch play, the peanut punch, as they call it. Great play by Brian Branch. He was phenomenal today. Branch had 2 picks and forced a fumble. Kirby had a pick in the end zone. And the Lions forced, where was the fumble recoveries? Oh, come on. Somewhere in here. Forced 2 fumbles. One on Turpin and one on Flournoy. Loved it. You win the turnover battle on the road, you win the game. And The Lions look like a team that was rested and ready to hunt, and that's exactly what they did. All right, I want to get into the defense and give Aaron Glenn his flowers. Coming up next, we'll do that. There's some guys on that D-line that were great today, and we'll hand out some game balls as well. Lions 47, the Cowboys 9, right here on Locked On Lions. Got to tell you about our friends at PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks is the best daily fantasy you can play. Here's how you do it. You just pick more or less on at least 2-player projections for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. All right. So you run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You want to do it and play it for football. You do it on the Sunday night game tonight, the Monday night game tomorrow, whatever you want. You pick players. Whether it's Justin Jefferson, you think he's going to get more than or less than 83.5 yards next week against the Lions. You could put money on that. What about Patrick Mahomes? Think he's going to throw for 200 yards or less than, or 250 yards or less than 250 yards in his next game? You could do that. Tomorrow night, ALCS, game 1, my Cleveland Guardians. Sorry, Tiger fans, but I'm just making a point. Against the Yankees. Want to play more than or less than on hits for Aaron Judge or Stephen Kwan, who's a god, by the way. You could do that on PrizePicks. Here's what you do. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 off instantly. $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Play a $5 lineup, you get $50. PrizePicks, run your game. How about Aaron Glenn's defense today? Aidan Hutchinson goes down. They still played hard. They still made plays. They attacked Dak Prescott. All week we talked about Prescott is good against pressure, yet not today. The Lions rattled Dak Prescott to the tune of a 42.2 passer rating. 42.2. 17 out of 33 for 178. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Threw a horrible interception that Branch almost took back to the house. This was so bad, CMU's own Cooper Rush came into the game. Run defense was there. Lions outgained him 184-53 on the ground. Dowdle ran for 25, and that's it. Zeke 17. The defense was phenomenal today. CeeDee Lamb started the game on fire, and you're like, oh gosh, what's going on here? There was the tip play and everything else. 7 catches for 89 yards, but the Lions held the Cowboys to 3 Brandon Aubrey field goals, kept them out of the end zone in their house. And I want to give credit to the defensive line. Defensive line coach Terrell Williams and those guys. They were stunting. They were moving guys in and out. Aleem McNeil had a monster game today. Onzarike was in there. Like I said, Nowaski got a sack. Everybody on that defensive line, Cal Pecco before he got hurt, Josh Pascal, all those guys played extremely, extremely well today. DJ Reader had a couple of tackles today. That's where you win. We've been talking about this for years with the Lions. Why don't they win? What's up with the Lions? They've got a dominant offensive line. And today the defensive line really played well and were schemed great. It was a great, great scheme. We know Dallas has been a little bit shaky on that O-line, but man, the Lions were awesome on defense today. Forced 4 turnovers, 2 picks, 3 picks, and the forced fumbles. It was awesome to watch. Kirby Joseph again with another interception. That's 4 in 5 games, I believe. Brian Branch with the 2, nearly took the second one back to the house. How good is that kid playing that strong safety spot? Everybody got in on the act today. It was great to see. Jack Campbell was going sideline to sideline. He had 7 tackles today. Meek Robertson, who you figure will come in and be that nickel corner, that slot corner, and do a great job against the pass. He had 5 solo tackles today. He had a tackle on Jake Ferguson that stopped a touchdown. It was a really underrated play in this game. As far as game balls go, this is not going to be easy. It's not going to be hard at all. There's a bunch of them handing out. Jared Goff gets a game ball, throwing for 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 153.8 passer rating. Not a perfect passer rating, but close. Perfect is 158.3. He was right there, very close. David Montgomery, 2 touchdowns. Gets a game ball today, ran for 80 yards. I'm giving a game ball to Jamison Williams. You watch how he blocks down the field on runs. 3 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown, the 37-yard touchdown catch. I'm giving a damn game ball to Tim Patrick, who should have had a touchdown today. Got taken away at the 1-yard line. 3 catches, 68 yards. He was awesome today. On defense, how do you not give a game ball to Brian Branch? The 2 interceptions, the 6 tackles, 5 of them solo. And also, game ball to Jake Bates. He had a 48-yarder today. He hit all 4 field goals and all 5 extra points. Game ball to the coaching staff. Game ball to Aidan Hutchinson just because he's got to stay overnight in Dallas. And, gosh, this sucks. But what a performance today from this team. Love the way they played. And now next week, 1 o'clock on Fox, it's going to be a battle. 5-0 Vikings, 4-1 Lions. Huge. And they will not get Burkhardt and Brady because they're doing the Chiefs-Niners game, the Super Bowl rematch. But regardless, you got to figure you're going to get like Joe Davis and Greg Olsen or one of those teams. Regardless, Lions at Vikings next week is going to be massive. Question will be, what do they do about edge rusher, and is it just going to be Ugude coming up from the practice squad? Ukwu was active today. I watched 45 a lot. He was doing his best getting in there, but it's going to have to be done by committee because you now have lost your top 3 pass rushers really to start the year with Hutch, Davenport, and Derek Barnes. All right, folks. Big win today. Lions win 47-9. Well, the PFF grades and an update on Aidan Hutchinson tomorrow, right here on Locked On Lions. Hope everybody had a decent weekend. Lions win 4-1. We are back again tomorrow.